up, everybody? It's your girl, your favorite host, Milli, and I'm back with another recap of Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 7, Episode 11. Now, this episode was so juicy. It had all the tea from everybody. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Gizelle and Karen. Now, the Grand Dame and, of course, the Green-Eyed Bandit were seen in Gizelle's home, where Karen goes to Gizelle's house for a little key. They haven't done that in a while. If you can recall last season when Karen went to Gizelle's house for a reasonably shady party, they were outside. So this is the first time Karen has actually entered Gizelle's new house. So that was like really, really funny, that whole scene, because if you can recall with her being inside, and of course last season, Gizelle didn't want Karen to come into the house. She couldn't even go to use the bathroom. Of course, everybody kind of felt offended by that last season. So Karen is pleased to see how Gizelle's house looks, but you know the Grand Dame is going to throw some shady shots at Miss Gizelle. But of course, who does not? Who does not do that? So they start talking about Gizelle's and Robin's live show coming up, and Gizelle asked Karen how her relationship with Mia has been going since Miami. You can recall it was a whole big blow up, honey, for the last couple of episodes with them being down in Miami. So what Karen said was to her, you know what? One thing I like about Mia is that she takes accountability. Now I can agree. If Mia is wrong, she is going to say she's wrong, and she's going to hold herself accountable. I think that's why I really like Mia. She's hilarious, number one. Of course, she's going to stir the pot, but at the end of the day, when she's wrong, Mia is going to say, you know what, I'm wrong for that. She says it on social media, and of course, she says it on the show. So while they are talking, they're having their little kikis, a little shade roast here and there. And Karen also said that she did not like how Jacqueline was insinuating herself into the conversation that she was having with Mia, with the whole loyalty and the friendship thing. And so she likes Jacqueline, but she just didn't like that. And I can agree, if you have a disagreement with a friend, your other friend does not need to insert herself in y'all's business. I think that is just messy, and that's just really too much, because it did not concern Jacqueline. So Karen didn't like that, but she did say she does like her, as a person. Now, this was like the really funniest part to me with this scene with her and Karen, was that Gizelle was dropping like some tea about what went down in Miami. If you remember from that episode, I think it was the last episode in Miami, Candace, Ashley, and Karen, they went to go meet Wendy for lunch. However, Gizelle, Robin, and Charisse, Mia, they all stayed back at the house. So Gizelle, of course, messy Gizelle, she was dropping some tea, and she was saying that Mia and Jacqueline had been drinking. They were a little bit tipsy or drunk or whatever. And Mia made it seem like she buys Jacqueline things, basically, hey, if I'm a friend of yours, you're gonna have it too. So Gizelle was trying to figure out, is Gordon, Mia's husband, buying cars for Jacqueline, her friend. So Gizelle keeps talking about, more in detail how Mia let Jacqueline, in the past have sex with one of her boyfriends, and that she likes to watch. And so, of course, the production is really doing their job this season. They're going to go back to the conversation that Mia had in the truck with Charisse, Gizelle, and I believe Robin was in the truck at the time, I think, but I'm not really for sure. But Mia did say, she likes to watch while, her partners at the time in the past engaged in sex. So she liked to watch. So Gizelle thinks that at this point that Gordon and Mia are, having some things going on with Miss Jacqueline. And of course, the grand dame, her facial expressions were hilarious because I mean, like getting that tea, she wasn't even expecting Gizelle to drop that tea about, the whole Mia and Jacqueline situation. But it that part was just really, really hilarious with Karen and Gizelle. So next it flips over to Wendy. Wendy is seen in the emergency room due to her kidney stone. She's having trouble with that, and her husband Eddie is with her at the hospital, and they are glad that they did come to the hospital. But he keeps telling her, you need to kind of slow down and take some time for yourself. And Wendy has been putting off this surgery for quite some time because she had other speaking engagements, things that she wanted to accomplish and do or book for. And her husband was saying, you need to take some time, you need to worry and concentrate on you. So after that scene, it kind of flips to my girl Ashley. So Ashley is basically, she's doing her TikTok thing, she's mommying. Ashley is really doing her thing this season. Shout out to Ashley Darby. I love her. I love what she does on TikTok, but she is keeping it real. And so she's having a conversation with her nanny about how Michael has been looking for houses for her and with her. And they recently have had a house to go on the market. So she's just really trying to, figure out things with Michael as far as like next steps. Does he have a key to the house? Does he have a room? All that stuff, even though she is going through a separation and a impending divorce. So she's just really trying to weigh her options and everything of that nature. So she's still talking with her nanny. So after the commercial comes back on to Gizelle and Robin. Next, Gizelle and Robin, they meet at the venue for their live show. They are doing a Reasonably Shady live. This is their first event they've done for their podcast together like that, to that extent. So they are very, very excited. So they're trying to go over everything with their producer, with the venue manager, and to see kind of where people should sit for VIP and everyone. They're just trying to do what normal people do for an event, trying to make sure all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed and of that nature. So they start going over things about the show and how Juan will be a guest. Robin's gonna, call him up. They're gonna ask him, a couple of questions if it's reasonably or shady, that kind of stuff. So Robin is saying that, she's going to remind him, to come up and butter him up because he tends to forget things. So she wants to ease it to him, like, like how a spouse would do. Say, hey, you got somewhere to be. You got to do this, etc. So as they're both, continuing talking about the show, the wedding comes up, of course, and Gizelle is asking Robin, when the wedding is and how she was in her feelings because she wasn't invited. Now, if you remember the last couple of episodes, Robin and Juan decided that they will be, having a wedding, but it would just be the four of them two and their sons, no guests allowed, no family members. They just wanted it intimate. So Gizelle is kind of like, I'm supposed to be your best friend. How come you at least invite me? But she understands. So Robin is talking to her more so about kind of easing in the conversation about doing a prenup with Juan. And if you can recall, in last season, he didn't want to discuss it. So she's scared to just even ask Juan about a prenup because, he tends to walk away. He doesn't want to talk to some things, about that. So she's just still kind of scared and doesn't know how she's going to bring it up to him. Now, this episode didn't really show too much of Candace, except for her. She's seen getting ready for her music video with Trina, and her mother is there. Now, last season, Candace's mother was dropping so much tea at her last video shoot for Drive Back. So this video shoot, Candace was like, I no, mama, you better not say nothing. Nobody's here. It's just me. And everybody else, no other cast members are here. So Candace is not having that fly this season. So, and I understand, because I feel like her mom was kind of dropping too much tea to people that she barely knows, and it just wasn't a good look for Candace's mom. So I can understand, telling your mama, look, mama, thank you for coming, but we're gonna have to have some ground rules and some boundaries, when you come to a video shoot from me. So during the video, she's talking to Trina, saying, just basically giving her flowers, because Trina has done a lot in hip hop and for females in hip hop, and she deserves her flowers, of course. And so Candace is so excited. She, of course, again thanks her, and they start doing her video. And if you haven't seen Candace's new video featuring Trina, I suggest you go watch it. It is good. She is really doing her thing. And it seems like they got the budget together for this season for a video shoot. Last season they were talking about that budget and that video shoot, but this season they got it just right. So I'm proud of Candace. Shout out to her for doing her thing, new video shoot. So make sure you go and stream her music, number one, and get and watch her video on YouTube. Now it goes on, as the show continues, it pans back to Robin and Juan. So finally, Robin sits down and she's talking to Juan about the prenup, and they talking about the wedding date. And so Robin kind of slides in, I kind of went to my lawyer and talking about a prenup and about a clause about infidelity. So, to my surprise, you're looking at Juan, his facial expressions are like, wait, hold up, what prenup? What are you talking about? So he looks very, very confused. And Robin is basically saying, when they were going through a divorce, Juan started dating someone, but they didn't fight over money. So he's like, that's not going to happen again. And basically he's just not with it. I can understand why Robin would want to do a prenup because of things that happened in their last marriage. But then again, I can understand Juan learned from his mistakes and he really loves Robin. But I'm just like, I can see both sides. So I am interested to see, as the season progresses and moves forward, how would this, work? How will it end? Will he be okay with the prenup and with the clause that says infidelity? So I cannot wait to see about that. So we're gonna flip again back to Wendy. Wendy, of course, seen at the hospital in the emergency room. She has her surgery for her kidney stones. And so she's now coming back home where her family is greeting her, her kids, her mom, her husband, and everybody. And so her mom is basically there. She's there helping her. She's cooking for her, making sure the kids are all right. And, just being a mom, checking on her baby after having two outpatient surgeries. And I'm glad that Wendy is okay. I know kidney stones aren't anything to play with and they are not nice. So I'm glad that she is okay and doing better and recovering. So, her mom and Wendy, their relationship has, she looks to her mom for strength. She is inspired by her mom and everything she's gone through, and that has what made Wendy be strong and be the woman who she is today. And her mom is really letting her know, you need to slow down with working so much. Your health comes first, and it does. And Wendy is like, Mom, I understand that. My husband tells me that all the time, but somebody like Wendy that is a workaholic, that loves what she does, it doesn't really register to you until something happens. So her mom is really encouraging her to, like, hey, you need to take a step back and just self-care and think about you. Don't push yourself too hard because you still here. You still matter and we still need you here. So, they talk about it. And then her mother throws in about, she wants a boob job. And so Wendy was like, Mom, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm basically recovering. So we're going to have to talk about this at a later date. So I'm listen. If Mama want a boob job, I am all for the boob job. Wendy, go ahead and let your mama have a boob job. It's all right. She's grown. She earned it. All right. So now we flip back to Mia and Karen. Karen goes to visit Mia, and they sit down and they're having like a key, honey. And one thing about the Grand Dame, Miss Karen Huger, she is going to get to the tea. She's going to get to all the juicy questions that everybody has. So Karen tells Mia that she went to go visit Gizelle and how she told her about Mia and Jacqueline were being naked in the shower, honey. And at this point, Mia is laughing. She was like, okay, like, yeah, we were. So what? Basically, that's what she's, saying to Karen. And Karen is asking, is that something y'all enjoy doing together? And Mia just basically told her, she was like, yeah, what's the problem? Like, it is what it is. So, she's still talking to Karen. And Karen is asking her questions. And so she went on to say that Gizelle, of course, Motor Mouth Maybelle of the town, Gizelle, told her that Mia allowed Jacqueline to sleep with one of her ex-boyfriends. And so Mia kept, like I said, she kept it real. She was like, yeah, that is true. I did allow Jacqueline to sleep with one of my ex-boyfriends, and I watched, so it is what it is. Like, what's the big deal? And so she went on to say that Karen asked her, have y'all ever been intimate? Have y'all been lovers? And Mia said, no. But also, Mia said that was years ago. We did fool around, but that was years ago. We don't do that, now. And so Karen asked the big juicy question everyone wanted to know was, have her and Gordon done things with other people together? So Mia kind of paused a little bit, and then that's when the Grand Dame asked, have you all done things with Peter Thomas? And if you don't know who Peter is, then you should know. From Real Housewives of Atlanta, he used to be married to Cynthia Bailey. So Mia kind of paused a little bit, and Mia said, yes, they have done some things together with Peter's ex-girlfriend. So Karen was like, oh my God. So she kind of understood or see why Mia would throw the drink on Wendy, because Wendy did make a comment about Mia sleeping with Peter. But of course, now everybody got it all the way wrong. That did not happen, but Mia and Gordon did sleep with Peter Thomas's ex-girlfriend. So Karen is, really flabbergasted, and she was like, well, all right, and to each his own, you do what you do. So, and that's one thing about Mia. Mia is going to keep it real. A lot of people say, oh, I don't like Mia, X, Y, and Z. But one thing about Mia, if you ask her, Mia is very transparent, and she's going to keep it real, and she's going to keep it 100 with you. So that's why I like Mia, and that's why I still think she needs to be on the show. So now we get towards the end of the episode, which is the reasonably shady event. So Robin and Gizelle are getting ready for the live event, and all the girls are there to support, with the exception of Wendy and Candace. Of course, Candace says she wasn't going because she doesn't think that Gizelle deserves the right to basically, have her there. And I don't blame Candace. If you aren't really on good terms with someone, why would you show up to their event? But hey, everybody else was there. Ashley, Cherise, Jacqueline, Mia. Ray was there in attendance with Karen as well. So basically all the girls were there to support both Robin and Gizelle. So Karen is videoing like before the show starts, and she calls it KHZ, Karen Huger TVZ, like TMZ, but KHZ. So of course the Grand Dame is filming, and she's basically is, she gonna throw the shade in there, honey. She's like, ain't nobody here, where's everybody at? And all that good stuff. So it was a little empty, I would say that, watching the clips. It was a little empty, but hey, it's their first event, so I'm pretty sure if they were to do another one, it will probably pack out. Will be more people there for the event. So the event starts, right, and the host, they got this comedian. And one thing, when you have an event, you got to get somebody that's going to be funny, that's going to be energetic. As a host myself, I do host events. You got to bring that. And so the comedian that was hosting the event started out, he was getting people crunk turning up and everything, but he says Robin's last name wrong. So if you're a host, how dare you say the host of this event's name is wrong? That was like so crazy, for me. But the grand dame, of course, Karen Hugo, was taking notes and everything, and she was like, what not to do at my show. So she was taking notes of everything that was going on at Robin and Gizelle's show. This was something that she does not want to happen at her live show that she has coming up. So basically, again, they bring them out, they come in, they sit down, they start having a few technical difficulties, but then they soon got it together. They started playing like a few games with the audience members, as well as some of the cast members. Like Ashley went up there and they were doing like some dances with the cast, not the cast members, but the audience members. Of course, Juan Dixon came up there and he was answered a couple of questions that Robin had. So the camera goes to Karen and Mia and Sharice during the show. Now, when the camera got on them, they were all on their phones. Sharice looked bored. Basically, everybody looked bored, and Karen said, "Hey, basically, I'm bored." So, they were kind of confused as to what's going on, right? So during the live show, some people, were allowed to ask questions. Gizelle and Robin gave people the opportunity to ask the questions, and one audience member stood up and she asked the question to Robin, which everybody wanted to know when the wedding was. And Robin, of course, could not answer the question, so she just kind of like brushed it off, saying, "Oh, you gotta still stay tuned for." Basically, she don't even know when her own wedding gonna be. So the show ends and everybody goes up to Robin and Gizelle. They're really congratulating them, they're supporting, they're so happy about their live show. Karen and Ray, they aren't in the last shot of the show, so they end up leaving after the show, after they congratulated Robin and Gizelle. And the people that were left there were Mia, Jacqueline, Sharice, and Ashley. So of course, Gizelle, Motor Mouth, Maybelle, Gizelle. That's what we're gonna call Gizelle Bryant. Motor Mouth, Maybelle, Gizelle. That rhymes. So if you ever hit us again, make sure y'all give me my credit. But Motor Mouth, Maybelle, Gizelle. Of course, Messy Gizelle pulls Jacqueline to the side, and she pulls her to the side with Sharice and asks her if Mia brought her car, basically her Porsche. And so Jacqueline responds and says, I bought my own car. Like, why would I have somebody to buy my car? So Jacqueline doesn't remember the convo that Gizelle brings up about in Miami. Apparently, everybody was at the beach, and Mia did kind of say that, if she not winning, basically she's talking about Jacqueline, if she's not winning, pulling up in her Porsche, I'm a terrible friend. So that got to Gizelle's little brain cells going, like, did Gordon buy her this Porsche or what? So Jacqueline thinks that Gizelle thinks that Gordon is her sugar daddy. So of course, everybody's over there at this point. Ashley comes over there, and then Jacqueline calls Mia over there. No, not Jacqueline. Gizelle calls Mia over there because she wanted to ask her, some questions. Of course, she's trying to get all the tea and everything. So Mia goes over there and she kind of clears it up and says that, Jacqueline's car is in her name. That is her car. So Mia kind of makes a joke about Gizelle wanting the car. If somebody asks you, hey, did you buy this person a car? That means you want a car, right? So Mia is like, doing the Oprah impression. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. I mean, if you're going to ask, then that means you might want a Porsche too. So they continue to joke, and Mia definitely says that, she has her own money. Jacqueline did say that Mia does have her own money, and she, pretty much can buy me a car. If she wanted to. She got it like that. As we see all the time. Mia says she got it like that. She a boss, she balling. So Gizelle says again how she thought Gordon brought Jacqueline's Porsche for her. And so Mia jokes again and says, Gordon don't have no money. I got the money or whatever. So they laughing back and forth. So Gizelle brings up the drunk convo in Miami, and Mia asked Gizelle, are you asking, basically, she getting right down to her. Are you asking, has Jacqueline slept with my husband? And or what are you insinuating? And so Jacqueline kind of felt like, the reason why I pulled you over here is for you to answer that question, and Mia should have been included in the convo. So I mean, I do get why Jacqueline did that, because if you're gonna insinuate something about me, no, you need to hear it from the horse's mouth. Let me get Mia over here so she can clarify everything. I'm not saying nothing on anybody's marriage or speaking on anybody's marriage. No, I'm gonna let her clarify that. So basically, Jacqueline, she answers the question. She says, no, I have never slept with Gordon. Basically, he's not my type. She don't want Gordon or anything like that. But everybody like Robin, Gizelle, Sharice, and Ashley, they aren't buying it. They do not believe Jacqueline and Mia's story. They really think it's more to, the tea as to what is going on with Mia and Gordon and Jacqueline. So that was the end of the episode. This episode was hilarious. Of course, the Grand Dame is going to carry, honey. Every episode, Karen Huger is going to carry the show. I love and just everybody in general. But I will have to say, this episode is one for the books, and I cannot wait until the next episode. Like I said, I believe the next new episode, which will be episode 12, will be in 2 weeks. If I'm not certain, but make sure you go Google it to make sure if I'm wrong, or if I know it's not coming on Christmas. Not sure about New Year's, but I think it does come back on January 1st. So we have 2 weeks. It won't be on this Sunday due to Christmas, but we have to wait another week for a brand new episode for the Real Housewives of Potomac. So make sure you like and subscribe this video. Tell people about it. I'm going to be doing a recap of every episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac season 7, and I will catch you in the next video.